You think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to BS in the Ring. This is Warren Dollar,
And I'm Mills.
and we are back on our bullshit after 2 weeks away. Welcome back to the show.
What it do, what's up? Hope everybody had a good and safe few weeks, especially with the spring break going on. Hopefully no one got arrested, and if you did, hopefully it wasn't nothing bad. Hopefully no one, I don't know, ended up like in the middle of Myrtle Beach naked or something. Like, you could always hit rock bottom, and hopefully nobody did that. And if you did, I hope you had fun doing it. But let's talk about some wrestling.
For those of you who don't know, we are in college, and we had our spring break 2 weeks ago. Last week, we had to take a week off because we had some scheduling conflicts. But we are back, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. So let's get into this shit.
Nah. Let's go.
We're going to start with Raw. We're not going to really talk about the matches that much. We're going to talk about the show, some of the top storylines that came out of Raw that are going into the road to WrestleMania. With 3 weeks away, we're getting a little bit of build. We're getting...
Sorry, we some thirsty motherfuckers on this show. Drink your water, boys and girls.
We're getting some build. We had Lesnar start the show out to a chorus of boos in which Drew McIntyre would interrupt and then get a chair shot for the effort from Seth Rollins, who would then proceed to rush the ring and try to attack Lesnar with the chair. This would lead to a match later on in the night, which I believe it was the main event, right?
What? Oh, Rollins and
McIntyre.
Yeah, that was the main event.
Yeah. You had the continual build of the IC title match that's supposed to be going on with another Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor match. Who cares? I love Finn Balor as a performer. He's great, but
I'm over Bobby Lashley
I'm
versus...
so done with Bobby Lashley.
And it's
versus
not even Finn Balor's fault. It's just Bobby Lashley is so fucking dull.
Yes.
Like, oh
Even
my
with
God.
Leo Rush, he's dull.
I would much rather see a Leo Rush versus Finn Balor
And
rivalry.
we've said that before, but we're not going to get that.
It's ridiculous. It is what it is.
The other important things that come out of this is that Kurt Angle comes out and named Baron Corbin as his WrestleMania opponent.
Boo.
Boo! I mean, god damn. Could they think of a worse way for this man to go out?
Like, I like Baron Corbin and what he does. Like, his character is very unlikable, and I think that's what...
I think he's just unlikable.
He does, but he does a great job with it. But what I'm gonna say is that these two performers together, in my opinion, don't mix for a match like this, because as much as I hate to say it, it's kind of a dull fest. Like, I'm over Angle versus Corbin, because even though we haven't seen legit matches,
we haven't even wanted to see that.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
I will say there is news on that concerning the backlash from the fans that we'll get to later on in the show. We had Ronda Rousey build as a heel, and you guys already know how much we love Ronda as a heel. She's been great. And this latest piece about her, her deciding she's going to say fuck everyone and just not give a damn about the refs, not give a damn about officials or any other performers, that's been great.
We also have, since we've been gone, this heel turn has been amped up significantly.
Yes.
Like the last time we were on, we started to get the heel Ronda, but now we have full-blown heel, fuck WWE. We had the thing 2 weeks ago during spring break when Ronda straight up said this is fake in her vlog series.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And that pissed off a lot of people. It didn't piss me off because I knew what was going on.
I thought it was brilliant.
It is truly remarkable what they're doing with Ronda. Since she turned heel, she had every promo she has had since she turned heel has been better than every preview beforehand.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see that the intensity has been dialed up 1,000-fold, which has been great.
100%. 100%.
I can't wait for their match at Mania with Charlotte and Becky.
I'm okay with all this
I'm
build
okay
up.
with this
I'm
being
okay
the
with
main
the
event.
I'm okay with the triple threat match now. Now,
Yes.
at first I wanted it to be Ronda versus Becky, but shit, we even have it now.
I want to see her beat the crap out of Charlotte too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The final piece from Raw that was of any interest comes in the form of Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. The match itself was great, but it's what came before the match and during the match at the near the end that's of real interest. Before the match, McIntyre is out and he's talking directly to Roman, who is not at the show. Or at least not on screen at the show. He's going, Roman, I've got a challenge for you, and I know what your answer is already. These people know what your answer is already. Your family, who's crying right now, knows what the answer is already. But you don't want to face me. Say no. Because if you do, I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. I like that angle too from McIntyre because obviously with Roman Reigns coming back from the leukemia, like obviously there's a big family factor there because obviously what's going on, and I think if they're gonna hit on that, Drew McIntyre did a great job of doing that. And
yes,
and the way he
McIntyre,
did it too
I think McIntyre was the right choice for a return feud for Roman.
And it's a good feud. You got two. In my opinion, the only two guys physically on Raw that you could put against Brock Lesnar and say, and if they win, you can say, well, that didn't shock me. Like, I feel like those are the two guys physically that can go against Brock Lesnar. And honestly, I think whoever wins between those two at Mania will either be the next to face Brock Lesnar or
will be the first to face Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Like I know we're not doing, I know WWE isn't big for the number one contender spot anymore. But to me, the winner of that match is the true number one contender for the Universal title.
I do want to ask you, since we weren't on last week, we saw last week with the no DQ match, the Falls Count Anywhere match with Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's the last time we see Dean? Because I think it was the perfect way to write him off, taking that giant ass whipping from McIntyre.
If it's not a play. If Ambrose
his contract situation.
Yeah. What?
You're talking about if his contract situation is not a work.
Yeah, if his contract situation is not a work, that's perfect. If it's not, it's still good if you want to bring him back way later on. Maybe Ambrose wants another 6 months to a year off like he just had before last August, So who knows? Because as much as I hate to say it, his run after he came back when he came back as fucking yoked Dean Ambrose, as much as I hate to say it,
boring.
It was not only was it boring, it was underwhelming.
Yes.
Like it's just not what I expected.
We were expecting so much more.
Like I obviously expected a Shield reunion, but after that I expected those.
I was expecting him to come back as a full blown heel. Take time for him to make
I was at the show when he came back, and I've never heard a pop that big in my life in person. And so it just really shocked me that so many people wanted Dean Ambrose to come back, but we just didn't get it.
Yeah.
We got it, but not in the way that we thought. I wasn't expecting him to come back and play third fiddle to Reigns and Ambrose and then almost be completely out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, one thing me and you talked on when the first podcast started was Ambrose and Rollins should, in our opinions, still be going today.
Oh, I still think that if this does come out to be a work, even though it's looking more and more that it's not, if this really is a work, that really should be the first title defense. And they should roll with that CM Punk storyline that they would rework for Ambrose, because I still think it's a great storyline. You have that second city savior, that guy who wants to leave because he's pissed off at everything and wants to find better, but he's taking the title with you.
Yeah.
That's great.
As far as the Ambrose thing though, which you said I think is really good, I think that was the perfect way to write off Ambrose if he is not coming back.
If that was the last time we're seeing Ambrose, I understand his contract expires at the end of April or sometime in April.
I wonder.
But there's no reason that we should see him on TV anymore.
Now, I don't want to make this into a big talking point, but I wonder if this is going to affect maybe Renee Young staying with the company.
I have seen in an article or two within the past couple weeks that they were thinking about taking her off commentary or having her speak less. I think that's more or less because she hasn't been very good on commentary.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be a factor.
Nothing's as bad as Beth Phoenix on those fucking pay-per-views.
God.
Jesus Christ.
That was
Fuck's
bad.
sake. I hope I never have to hear her on commentary again. Maybe after like this run that she has, I'm gonna assume they're gonna put the belts on Beth Phoenix at some point. Maybe when
that
she's
would be
gone.
ridiculous.
Well, I don't see it lasting for a long time, regardless. And hopefully, maybe that's just her done with WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we're gonna move on to SmackDown now because there's a decent amount of stuff to cover.
Oh,
SmackDown was still the better show this week.
Yeah, for sure, always. As much as I hate to say it, I can't remember the
I
last
don't hate
time
to
Raw
say it.
was better than SmackDown. And if you want to be honest with you, maybe this is leading towards the Fox deal.
I think it is.
'Cause-
Because Fox has been putting a lot of pressure on them to boost the ratings and have better shows and actually give a damn. I do remember seeing an article about that weeks and weeks ago saying that if Fox did not see an improvement that they would consider canceling SmackDown.
Huh. Damn. I haven't read that, but Jesus Christ, that's a statement.
I don't blame them. They're telling them, look, if you want us to have your show on our network and on the main network, you're going to give a damn about your product. And you're going to increase the ratings because we want to see good ratings. If you come over and tank our network's ratings, we don't give a crap how much of a staple you are. You will be canceled.
Yeah,
USA has the luxury of saying, you know what? It doesn't matter. Have a 3-hour show. Have bad ratings. We'll still renew you because you're the only real action show that we have.
To me too. I do think Fox is going to help out WWE a lot more than WWE is going to help out Fox.
Yes,
Because Fox can rely on these shitty little network shows because people are going to always watch them. Here's the thing. Even though USA is kind of basic cable for the most part, Fox is going to be on a channel. I mean, WWE SmackDown is going to be on a channel that literally everyone has. So if Fox cancels WWE, like that contract, the only person hurting from this
it's Vince.
is Vince McMahon. Because what if AEW comes out swinging?
Which
And then-
they probably will.
And
given
then
some
I
of
think
the-
I think the Fox deal is 5 years.
it's a big deal.
5 years, and I think the deal is worth billions.
Let me look that up because
But anyway, if AEW comes out swinging, why not in 5 years from
it's
now?
a 5-year and $1 billion deal.
Yeah, 5 years from now, Fox can sweep in and pick up AEW if AEW comes out swinging. And
That's
then-
if
and
whatever network they're on doesn't want to keep them.
That is true. But also if they don't want to stay on that network
True.
either.
All right, so we're going to get to the actual show now. So SmackDown opens. We were told last week, or at least leading up to this show, that the gauntlet match would start off the night. We were lied to. I don't mind it, though. I don't mind it, because it gave us something to keep looking forward to, that we had to continue to look forward to. It opens up with Miz, and he is addressing Shane McMahon's comments from last week where he's saying, I turned on The Miz because I wanted to, because people use me and use my name for their own advancement, and I get nothing out of it, and I'm sick and tired of it, and The Miz was no different, and I beat him because I wanted to. And you know what? I want to do it again at WrestleMania. So Miz, I'm your boss. We're going to do this. Miz comes back, and he is absolutely intense. And it was fantastic. Miz comes out, and he's talking about how he's never really had talent. He's always had to work hard. He came from Cleveland, Ohio, where everyone has told him he's going to amount to nothing, that he's nothing special, that his destiny wasn't to be a superstar. It was to flip burgers at his dad's joint. he had to work hard to get everything he's ever wanted, and he sacrificed so many friends or relationships and things over that. The only things he hasn't sacrificed are his wife and his child. And that his friendship with Shane meant that much to him. That he wasn't going to sacrifice that. So when Shane betrayed him, it
hurt him.
Yeah. So much to the point that Miz just... I think it's probably one of his best promos I've seen him cut in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot, because he's had a lot of fantastic promos. Goes, at WrestleMania, you're getting an ass whooping. That will show that, that hard work and talent does not always beat hard work. When talent doesn't work hard enough. I love that.
I think that's going to I think that's going to help bring a lot of people over to Miz's side, because I feel that from a personal perspective. To be honest, I guess
this isn't one of these crybaby faces.
A quick example, I guess, from my personal life is, and this is no hate on my little brother at all. My little brother has always been naturally good at everything we've ever done. Like, I guess high school, for example.
I understand that's my little sister.
This kid would come home and do nothing and get straight A's on everything. I would work my ass off, and I would get B's and C's. And I'm just like, what do I have to do? So I think what The Miz is doing, this angle that they're pushing with The Miz, is 100% the correct one. It's relatable. And it's going to help push him over. And that's why, and I don't mean to get off topic and bring up Fox, when Fox takes over, Miz is going to be the face. And
Miz should be the face right now.
No one can convince me any different that when Fox officially comes on board and we start seeing WWE on Fox, Miz will be that guy. Miz is the guy. In my opinion, I think Miz is the best worker, the hardest worker, the best on the mic, and one of the best in the ring in all of WWE right now, and personally, maybe in all of history, especially this modern history of the past 20 years. I mean, since the Attitude Era ended, in my opinion, Miz has been one of those top guys.
And let's be clear here, he hasn't always been that. Like, when he first got on, and he was with Johnny Nitro, John Morrison.
Yeah.
They were a tag team. They were decent, but they weren't anything special.
And they were annoying as fuck on ECW.
And even after they split, it took him going through partnerships with Big Show. It took him multiple partnerships with R-Truth. It took... Who else did he tag up with?
You want to be honest with you? He almost went down the same route. He went down the same route as Kofi Kingston. He just got lucky and got the big shots.
Having that shot against Cena years ago at WrestleMania, 28?
Something like that.
That really helped him. Like, since then, he has been a real focal point of the program.
When they say he brought the IC title respect back, that's not a lie. He's not lying.
People really cared about that title.
I still care about it.
You look at that title with Dolph Ziggler, and between their matches, they main evented a pay-per-view
with the IC
title, and it was one of the best matches on that card.
100%. I love The Miz, and I love that they turned Shane against The Miz, because I think that is going to be the match of the night at WrestleMania.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
No, I think that Randy Orton and AJ Styles might take that.
See,
or even Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan.
When we were talking earlier, when you were naming off the matches, when you said Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and then Miz, Shane McMahon back to back, and I said those are going to be the two best matches.
Yes.
Now obviously Kofi versus Daniel. I think those will be the top 3 matches, because those grudge matches are always the best matches.
This card has a potential for something decent, and we'll talk about the card.
I think it's going to be. I think this WWE. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to WrestleMania here in a little bit. So
from here we get the Boston Hug Connection coming after the first time on SmackDown. They've got a match against the Iconics, and it was nothing special. I didn't watch it, but there were 2 things that happened. You have Lacey Evans coming out doing her little walk in, walk out again that everyone is tired of for obvious reasons. And this leading to the Iconics doing a double team on them. Some more action after that. And then the Iconics pinning the champions. I don't know if I would have done that. I don't know that they should have won, but we know where this is leading to. It's leading to a fatal 4-way. And it's a shame.
Ladder match. That's the only way I'm going to be excited about this, because I love, in my opinion, when you put a lot of these women in the spotlight to shine, they normally do it. I think that would significantly help the hype around this title is if there was a big implementation. If there was a big what's the word I'm looking for? A big stipulation added to make the match very exciting. Because as much as I hate to say it,
this match is going to be boring as hell.
Yeah, unless there is a good stipulation like a ladder match implemented. So
from here, Rey Mysterio announces that he's going to face Samoa Joe for the title at WrestleMania. He's got a son with him in the back. Obviously, that's going to mean Joe's going to make it super personal using his son against him.
Who is a fucking horse compared to the last time I saw him? Last time I saw him, he was a small little chap. That kid is a fucking horse now.
Yeah, you remember when he was being used in the Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Rey Mysterio's son is literally two Rey Mysterios in one person. Now that's not a hit on him. He's just a big guy, you know.
From here, we get Kevin Owens coming out for his talk show, which there are way too many fucking talk shows in WWE, but that's another thing. He's got Charlotte and Becky Lynch on, and that pretty much ends up in a brawl. Nothing really special from there. It's gauntlet match time, baby!
Another good one. Can we just have like gauntlet matches every week? I don't care if they take up 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour of the show.
Let's just say this. Daniel Bryan and Rowan are out beforehand, cutting a promo, probably doing their usual stuff. I didn't watch that. I think I had cut to watch The Flash for a little bit at that point. Kofi comes out, and he's followed by The Bar. Kofi is up against Sheamus first, who gets pinned by Trouble in Paradise after a little bit. Cesaro comes in, gets pinned by an SOS. Rowan is after that, and I liked what they did with Rowan, because they had him DQ Kofi, which made sense, because no one was going to believe if he could beat Rowan. No one would have believed that he could beat Rowan, because he's giant. Even though Kofi is clearly better in ring than Rowan, that size does play a factor. Rowan DQs Kofi by slamming a steel chair into him, and then after the DQ, bear hugging him and ragdolling him into a post, and then slamming him into a table. This brings out Samoa Joe, who has a decent back and forth with him, and he attempts a muscle buster at the end.
And it got both of us hyped, for sure.
Yeah, I got both of us hyped, because let's just say this. When Joe finally gets to hit the muscle buster in WWE, because he hasn't done it the entire time that he's been here, when he finally hits that, it will be for a major title.
Yeah.
Or in defense of a title. Anyway, he goes for the muscle buster, and Kofi slips out of it and rolls him up. Randy Orton is out after this, but Joe attacks Kofi after this because he's just livid and pissed.
Cooking a clutch until Kofi's out.
And Kofi's against the ropes. This is supposed to be the final man. It's supposed to be, because we learned that after Kofi beats Randy.
When he was out for so long, though, I knew automatically, like, no way, this is it. Like when they left him out for so long, like they didn't have the New Day come out until a little bit afterwards. Like I thought they would have ran out instantly, you know.
Yeah. We should have seen it coming then.
Yeah.
But after Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise and can't get to Randy to pin him, because Randy rolls outside, he is able to finally get to Randy after a little bit and get him with a roll-up for the win. After that, Vince comes out with New Day in the ring, and they're all celebrating, and Vince is congratulating Kofi in that he's going to Mania. As long as he can beat this last opponent.
Yep.
Which, oh my god, the crowd was livid. I was livid. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why did you have him pin all those big names if he has to beat one more person? And the one more person was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going to have him beat Daniel Bryan now? Why would you even tease that if that's what your end game is? Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. I understand he's the champion, so he's supposed to be bigger than everyone who came out beforehand. But, do you really think I'm going to believe you're going to let Kofi beat Daniel Bryan this early in the build? So right there, it was just like, why?
I knew as soon as Daniel Bryan came out, it was over for Kofi
we
that
all
night.
did.
That night, but I still think it'll be those two at Mania. 100%.
I hope so. I just don't like the angle that they're taking.
Yeah.
I don't like the angle because the angle that is being built up is Kofi's an experienced vet. He deserves this. He's proven he deserves it. But because of who he is and what he is, Vince doesn't want to give it to him. Because there was a video that came out after SmackDown went off. And it was Big E, and it was Xavier, and it was Kofi in the back. And they're talking, and they're frustrated as hell. And it's like, what else do you have to do? They're not, like, you work tirelessly, and you've proven they don't want, you have to work twice as hard as everyone else.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it seems like the creative wants to play the race card.
I'm personally okay with it because we haven't seen a race card in so long. But at the same time, I think
It's lazy.
The thing they should be going with right now is, yes, Vince is denying him this, but I think the angle they should have done was maybe, in my opinion, this might be a stretch. I think we could have seen this as a way to get Triple H and Stephanie McMahon involved a lot more.
Yeah,
with saying, okay, Vince is fucking crazy. We have to do something.
I really think that they missed an opportunity with that. I really think that they could have used this as that opportunity to play Vince versus his kids and his son-in-law by using Daniel Bryan as Vince's champion, or at least Vince's representative, and Kofi is who the people want, and Triple H and Stephanie and Shane, well, maybe not Shane so much anymore, but Triple H and Stephanie are going to back Kofi because that's what the people want, and this is supposed to be a new era. They're supposed to be given what the people want.
Yeah.
The people want Kofi,
Yep.
but Vince is denying them.
Yep.
But instead they're going with the lazy booking, it seems, and who knows, we could be wrong. It could have just been what they're feeling in the moment. But I have a feeling that's the way they're going. And it might get brought up next week. And it's really lazy booking, if I had to be honest.
For sure. I agree 100%.
So, as for the shows in total, Raw was this week. It had a couple bright spots, but obviously it still has its flaws. SmackDown was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. It did what it needed to get the build across.
Yeah.
If there was any negatives from this show, I would say, obviously, the Rey Mysterio, I was disappointed in that. Simply because it just seems like you can do whatever you need, whatever they want you to in order to get a title shot against Joe or against any U.S. title. And it's come to just pin the champ and we'll give you a title match.
Yeah.
Versus actually earn it, actually become a number one contender. And I miss the number one contender system. I really think that's a great way to build people up. Because even if you're not the number one contender, say you're number 2 or number 3, like that still gives you your build of importance on the card. And I think with the advent of AEW coming into effect, they really need to consider looking back into it. let's get into some news because it's been 2 weeks, and this week in particular, we got some news for you guys.
I will say, last week, when we were talking about what was going on in the world of wrestling, there wasn't much news to talk about.
No, there really wasn't, and which kind of surprised me. So, according to Forbes, the current rumor going around is that the WrestleMania 35 card is set to be 17 matches long and close to 8 hours. This is going to be a 3-hour pre-show like usual, which, God kill us. And then at least a 5-hour main card. Of the matches that are confirmed for the card, you have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. As of last night, Tony Nese versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin in the final match of Kurt Angle's career. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, excuse me. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, excuse me. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle, as confirmed by Braun Strowman on Raw. And then of the rumored matches, you have Asuka versus To Be Determined, which is looking like
Mandy Rose
versus Sonya Deville versus Asuka, which I don't want to see. I don't
want two triple threat women's matches.
I don't want so many multi-people matches. It diminishes the titles.
I do think their first time facing each other, I think they could have done a lot more. So I would like to see Mandy Rose and Asuka again. So, for sure, let's go with that. I would very much enjoy to see Sonya Deville versus Asuka. Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose. My apologies, people. I just completely forgot how to talk. But I do think for me to get excited for this match, they need to for sure start hyping up this rivalry a little bit more. We don't have very long until WrestleMania. We have 2 weeks until WrestleMania. So they really need to start getting some hype behind this SmackDown Women's Championship, or else, when they're wrestling each other, when this match is going on, I'm going to get a snack.
Oh, I'm going to get a snack either way.
No. But,
and you also have rumored Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, which it's all but confirmed at this point. It's just a matter of making it official on SmackDown. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus Nia Jax and Tamina versus to be announced. At this point, it looks like the Iconics, since they pinned the champs. I don't want to see that. You said you would want to see it in a ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to see it. I want to see a one-on-one match. My thing about WrestleMania is it's your biggest show. I understand they want to get as many people on the card as possible, but for God's sakes, for the sake of making your titles prestigious, one-on-one match.
As much as I hate to say it, too,
not everyone needs to be on the card.
Well, not only that, there is such thing as too much.
Yes.
And WWE is doing too much.
And there is news on why they're doing this, and we can get into that after this report, because there's still more matches. You have the Revival versus Ricochet and Aleister Black versus to be announced. Probably going to be Roode and Gable, if I had to put money on it. That's rumored for the tag titles. You have another huge multi-man match in the Hardy Boys versus The Bar versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev versus the Usos versus another team for those tag titles, and I don't know what they would plan on doing with those. Then Bobby Lashley versus to be announced, which that is 99% probably going to be Finn Balor,
For sure.
or the Demon Finn Balor, which As much as I love seeing the Demon, it's a waste of the Demon.
I can see it work though. This Monday, they just beat the hell out of Finn, and then you don't hear from him again. But you do see like the Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor for the title. Will Finn Balor be there? Boom, Demon.
Okay.
I think
I
that
still wouldn't want to see that match because I'm tired of
Oh no, I'm
Lashley.
tired of those two. Yeah.
But I could see that being a good way.
And we're
of
getting a
making that.
shake-up pretty close to
Yes.
after.
Yes,
WrestleMania,
I think
right?
it's like a week after WrestleMania we're getting it.
Okay, so I want Finn Balor on SmackDown.
Yes,
and none
or
of those
back in NXT. Could you imagine if he goes back to NXT for a second run?
too big.
Oh God, no!
He's too big and too good.
The hell with that.
I think Balor needs to be on SmackDown with guys that he can perform with that will not only he can help elevate, but people that can also help elevate him.
I agree with that.
And also, as much as I hate to say it, I don't hate to say it, I would much rather see Balor versus Styles versus Orton versus Joe versus any of the Hardys versus Andrade, Rusev, any of those guys on SmackDown than fucking Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, these big motherfuckers that you know in an actual fight Finn Balor doesn't have a fucking chance in hell of beating. I want Finn Balor in
guys that he can actually stand a chance with.
And not only that, who he can put on good matches with. Yeah, the Lesnar match was good for a fucking Lesnar match. As much as I hate to say it, unless it's no DQ and they're beating the shit out of each other with chairs, those matches fucking put me to sleep. I don't even give a fuck about them. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for all the F-bombs, but it just... Finn Balor is above that level. You know, Finn Balor is above what he's doing right now. And I think he knows it. I think we know it.
We all know it.
And the fact that...
And it pisses Triple H off because that's why he didn't want to bring Balor up for such a long time because he was scared that something like this was going to happen. Remember, when Balor was coming out of NXT, he was supposed to be the next big megastar that they had been searching for.
The biggest mistake they had was when he came back, they did not automatically put him in that running for a title.
They did not give him his rematch automatically. Yeah. I agree. The last rumored match on this card, according to Forbes, is the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Don't want to see it. Don't care. I'm tired of Battle Royals. That's including Andre the Giant. I just think they're done. I know that they're on the pre-show, but if you're going to have titles defended on the pre-show, at least give them more than like 10, 15 minutes.
I think the pre-show title matches are probably going to be SmackDown Men's and no, not with the Hardys.
If I had to guess, they're probably going to be the tag titles.
Oh yeah, Gable and
the
I mean
US
not Gable.
No. It's going to be both tag titles, the U.S. title, and then God
You think they'd put the Hardys on the pre-show?
Absolutely.
You think they would?
Absolutely.
I think
they put New Day on the pre-show. They put the Usos on the pre-show.
That is true. Okay, yeah, because you don't have that big four-way fatal four-way match, or however many fucking tag teams it was when the Hardys came back. So there's no point. But unless it's a stipulation, I think the SmackDown titles are on the pre-show. I think the women's title, SmackDown women's title is on the pre-show.
Probably.
And I think the Raw tag team, which is a shame to have both tag titles.
And possibly the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah, Cruiserweight title for sure is going on the...
Yeah, but and that's a 3-hour show right there.
But how fucking bad is it that both fucking tag titles will probably be on the fucking pre-show?
Oh, it's bad. The state of their tag division is a wreck.
Nothing about the tag division right now excites me except for Ricochet and Aleister Black.
And even still, they shouldn't be a tag team.
Yeah. They're a great tag team. They work phenomenal with each other, though.
So, as far as WrestleMania goes, there is a report out stating that the reason why they're doing so many events is because they want to keep their employee morale up, and they want to have as many people on the card because of All Elite Wrestling right around the corner. They don't want people going there. They don't want people feeling that they are feeling not used and they're feeling that they need an out. And I'm sorry. I understand where they're coming from. But your one job as a company, as a wrestling promotion, as an entertainment promotion is to ensure that you give the fans a good show. And let me tell you something. They have not done that. They haven't. The majority of the past couple WrestleManias have been garbage. Despite big names, despite supposed big matchups, they've been garbage. Why? Because they've included matches we don't want to see. Matches that have gone too long. The entire card that went too long.
They're going for quantity over quality.
Yes.
I remember back when WrestleMania was a solid 3-hour show.
It wasn't that long ago. Even when it was 4 hours, that's still okay. It's pushing it, but
I can't remember which WrestleMania it was, but in my opinion, it was the best. In my favorite, not the best, but my favorite was when The Rock faced Hollywood Hogan. I can't remember which. Not Hollywood Hogan. NWO Hogan.
No, that's Hollywood Hogan.
Okay, sorry. That, in my opinion, that show was maybe 3.5, 4 hours long. It had about 10, 12, maybe 15 at most matches, but nothing felt forced. Nothing felt manufactured. Everything on the card was on there for a reason. Everything had a story to it. I'm sorry, we don't have a story for the Usos and Hardy. We don't really have a story for the Cruiserweight title. We don't have a story for the women's title.
It doesn't mean that we need them.
I mean, should those things be on the card? Yes.
Maybe.
But I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm okay with them not being on the card if they don't mean fuck all to the card. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, that fits on the card. Why? Because Drew McIntyre came out and said the family thing. Boom. You have a grudge there.
And
What?
If anything, even if that doesn't go on the card, in my opinion, even if that's something that wouldn't go on the card, because I'm going to be honest, I love that it's a grudge match, but I wouldn't have put it on. Or at least I would put it on between a title match.
Yeah.
It wouldn't kill anyone if it wasn't on the card and instead it was saved for the next pay-per-view.
I will say, though, I think the big reason why this card is, they're on the card like that is because I feel like they think they have to have Roman Reigns on the card.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think for this card, Roman Reigns would have been better suited to come out and help Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Instead of if we're going to feud...
Well, I wouldn't even say that he was needed to help Seth Rollins.
But I feel like if he's going to be on the card, that's what it should have been.
Okay.
I don't think of like this whole quick force thing with Drew McIntyre. Even though I love the angle that they're going, I just think starting it 3 weeks before Mania,
it's not
wrong.
Enough.
And plus,
time.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Mania build should realistically begin around Royal Rumble.
Yeah, or at least that middle pay-per-view in between. Even though we had 2 for some fucking reason.
It realistically should start at Royal Rumble and then heat up after Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's when you should be getting the solid storylines down. We know
that
what's happening.
Gives you 2 months to build a card.
As much as
your biggest card of the year.
In my opinion, I feel like after Elimination Chamber, we should know what half of the card is going to be.
Absolutely, and the fact that we're only now beginning to know what some of the card is very, very wrong and very concerning. Because, let me tell you this, according to Ringside News and the Wrestling Observer Radio, they're still changing what the card is. And it's no more apparent than what the U.S. title was, because original plans for the U.S. title, according to Dave Meltzer, and, take it with a grain of salt, as with every one of these reports, because you can't trust it until it's confirmed. But according to Meltzer, the original plans were to have Rey and Andrade booked for WrestleMania. And that would have been a better match. That would have been that was something that we would have wanted to see for a title. Because they were building it. They were building it from weeks before WrestleMania, before Fastlane.
I think my thing is you see it in MMA when there's a fight going on. I'm going to say Tyron Woodley, for example, here when he lost his title to Kamaru Usman. His thing was that he never pulled the trigger. He didn't let his hands go. WWE needs to pull the trigger and stop being so hesitant to push these big storylines. Who cares if it's controversial? It's WWE.
It's supposed to be.
Last time I checked,
Wrestling is controversial.
Lita and Edge had sex. Well, I saw Lita's titty when I was like 8 years old on Monday Night Raw on Spike Television. I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin fucking
drink a beer, flip off the crowd, flip off Vince, beat his boss on national television.
Stop being so hesitant to do things. Just do them. And sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't hit. When Chris Jericho and Christian went at it over Trish Stratus, did that really get a big hit? No, not really. But they fucking tried. They pulled the trigger. They did it. They were confident about it. Nothing about WWE in my eyes right now screams confidence. Because for some reason, we still have Brock Lesnar showing up once a month, maybe once every 2 or 3 months. And for some reason, they're hesitant to take the title off him as if he's going to leave.
Who cares if he leaves?
Brock Lesnar's going to go where the money is. Brock Lesnar doesn't give a fuck about the WWE.
If the UFC offers Brock more money, it doesn't matter if he has a title on him. Brock is gone.
But back to the point. WWE needs to stop being so hesitant over losing this, that, and the other. I'm telling you, I don't care how big AEW is. People still want to go to WWE. WWE is still the biggest promotion on the planet. People want to go there. Stop being worried about losing this, that.
I'm going to tell you, if they continue to be worried about,
then AEW is going to be the biggest.
AEW, but about pulling the trigger, it won't take long before All Elite Wrestling is the biggest promotion. Because let's just look at the current climate of the company. They are a multi-million-dollar company with the biggest show in the world.
You could argue billions.
Yeah. I'm sorry, they are a billion-dollar company with the biggest show that they have ever put on, or to date, coming in a couple weeks. They are supposed to be putting on a quality show. But because of a competitor who has yet to have a single event under their brand, but has a whole lot of hype and a very big name investor, they are scared shitless. Not only that they're going to lose their people, but that because they lose their people, the product is going to be better than them. And if they were really so concerned about the product being better than them, why are they not putting out something better?
Why? If they're worried about product, why the fuck have we seen Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor the last fucking month?
Why have we seen Brock Lesnar only once?
If they're worried about product, why the fuck is Bobby Lashley in WWE?
Not even that. Why are Nia and Jackson Tamina on the TV? Why is Beth Phoenix coming out of retirement for a one-off?
You want a product?
Why is R-Truth getting some TV time? Why are they doing all these bad storylines that they know are going to drive people away or going to piss people off?
It's almost like WWE wants to test us to see how loyal we are to them. And as much as I hate to say it, it's starting to fucking backfire. Because you go to live shows, dude, I'm telling you, I could roll up to a live show right now, 10 minutes before it starts, and get a really good seat.
Oh, absolutely.
And because there's not that many people there. Well, I remember the last live show I went to, me and my buddy we went to, it literally took us 5 minutes to get in and then get out.
And let me tell you, even with NXT house shows, when they travel, it takes so much longer to get into those.
Because it's a better product. As much as I hate to say it, you almost have to look at NXT as its own commodity now because it is so big.
You had to.
And these people aren't even as experienced as the ones in WWE.
Oh.
Well, at least some, so obviously...
Some of them aren't, but the majority of that roster are seasoned independent vets.
But, they're not accustomed to that WWE style. But you see what happens when you put them in that environment. They thrive. Why aren't we seeing more... As much as I hate to say it, in my biggest opinion, you look at the women's division. The women's division in NXT destroys the women's division in SmackDown and Raw. And we don't see any of them getting pushed up. Now, I think the first positive step was you see guys like Ciampa, Gargano. Sorry, to me that's a hard name to pronounce. Aleister Black and Ricochet coming up. Those are great. That's a great start.
Until you overwork Ciampa and he goes out with a neck injury. And now we don't see Johnny because they don't know what to do with Johnny.
Exactly. But it's just one of those things. You have to pull the trigger and stop being so hesitant. They're too hesitant, and when they decide to stop being hesitant, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like it will be too late.
Yep. Absolutely. Speaking of more of WrestleMania matches, there's news on Kurt Angle's match because there's a lot of fan backlash. Because fans do not want to see Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. They wanted Kurt to have a better match. We want Kurt to have a better match as his final match. And they might have an out if they choose, but as of now, that's what the match is. Interestingly enough, because Cena was slotted to face Lars Sullivan before Sullivan sort of disappeared off the radar and we haven't heard about him since, Cena doesn't have an opponent. Whether or not he actually is being used is still to be determined, but why not use John Cena versus Kurt Angle as Kurt's final match? Cena was Kurt was Cena's
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, Kurt was Cena's first match in the WWE on television. It would only be fitting that if anyone gets to end Kurt's career, it's John Cena.
Yeah. I think that... I didn't even think about him being Cena's first actual WWE match. That's actually a very good work that they should have done.
Even if you want to promote a new star, or you want to have a one-off with a new star or something like that. Matt Riddle was sitting ready and willing to do the job. That would have been a great match.
For sure.
You could have had... who could you have had? You probably could have done Apollo Crews, or you could have done Chad Gable, or someone like that who could use a rub like that.
A younger guy that hasn't had the maybe the spotlight that someone like Baron Corbin has had. Because Baron Corbin right now, regardless if he's in this thing with Kurt Angle or not, he's still kind of like that authority figure that the McMahons are relying on right now. Like he's that bad guy heel. God, I hate to see him. But people know who he is, and he is prominent to Raw. He is one of the top guys at Raw. I know people don't like to hear that, but Baron Corbin is one of the guys you see the most on Raw. And I'm sorry, if you see them a lot, more than likely they're a top guy. I don't care how good or bad you think Baron Corbin is. I think he's very underrated. Corbin is a top guy. We could have gone without him going against Kurt Angle.
I don't really have anything else to say on that because I think that's spot on. The final piece of news that we have for you today is concerning All Elite Wrestling, as they have put in for a number of trademarks, including Bash at the Beach. It was reported today by multiple outlets. I'm reading mine from the Sportster, so please take this with a grain of salt. That Cody Rhodes and All Elite Wrestling have recently filed trademarks for different WCW terms and names that includes Battle Bowl, Bunkhouse Stampede, and Bash at the Beach. This is interesting because, as most wrestling fans know, those events are WCW, and WWE technically owns all of WCW's property, including Bash at the Beach. Despite them being creations of Dusty Rhodes while he was in WCW, these are technically intellectual property of WWE.
I think since Vince is living, we won't see this go through. I think if maybe Triple H had full control, you'd see it go through, because I don't think Triple H is that. I think Triple H wants WWE to come out on top, but I also don't think Triple H is I don't think he is his intentions are to suck the life out of pro wrestling. except for WWE, like Vince's was, and I'm sorry I have to say that about Vince, but I think that's true. I think Triple H wants to see pro wrestling in general thrive, and I think Triple H would allow this to happen, but I think since Vince McMahon is still the top guy, that's still the top dog in WWE, that's still the guy making decisions, there is no way in hell this will go through. I hope it goes through.
I hope so too, because it would be great to see.
Yeah.
I would very much like to see a Bash at the Beach pay-per-view go down.
So, I mean, short answer, no, I don't think this will happen because of Vince. But I do see it happening maybe sometime in the future when Triple H or Stephanie or Shane are the top decision makers. But more than likely, this will not go through, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't think it has its chance at going through because of that fact.
Yeah.
I think Vince has done a great number of things for the industry.
For sure.
That's not deniable. Without the man, we don't have a WrestleMania. Without him, we don't have this whole grandiose idea of pro wrestling.
But also because of him, you know, we don't have, in my opinion, WCW. Yes, we can blame it on Eric Bischoff, but you know the pressure from Vince McMahon caused that shit show to happen. Or you could say it was a product of their own success, but you can say this or that. But you know the pressure was there, even though they gave WWE more pressure than WWE gave them. Without Vince McMahon, maybe Impact didn't go for that Monday Night Wars bullshit and fucking destroy the company. Maybe we see more wrestling shows and promotions on other television channels without them worrying about WWE destroying them and them going out of business. You know, I would love to see Ring of Honor on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays on you know, maybe a local channel or something, in which we do get it on local channels sometimes, but you know, like a regular everyday network.
I think it would help the overall form of wrestling and the arena of wrestling if a part of the territory system were to come back, where you have WWE as a national sort of this national and global option, but depending on where you are, you could see PWG, you could see Ring of Honor, you could see CZW, you could see New Japan.
Yeah. Oh, I will say though, when it comes to Impact,
or even ICW.
I will say though, when it comes to Impact, besides the Monday Night Wars thing, what really truly killed that company, in my opinion, was Dixie Carter. Just to clarify that, after Bischoff and Hogan were gone, literally there was no way for them to go, nowhere for them to go but up. But somehow that didn't fucking happen, and Dixie Carter killed the company. So I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm going to say that they only could go down from that point.
See, I feel like they hit the low point with the Bischoff Hogan thing, but you know, don't test the devil because he'll show you the fucking lowest of low.
Facts. Big facts.
For sure.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning back into the show. Once again, we apologize for keeping you waiting, but all good things are worth waiting for.
For sure. The bullshit is back, boys.
The bullshit is back on its business.
Wednesdays are for the bullshit. Well, we do it on the Wednesdays, but like we upload them on Fridays. So Wednesdays or Fridays are for bullshit. Well, you know what? They're both for bullshit. Every day's for bullshit.
Every day's for bullshit.
And pro wrestling.
We will catch you next week. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the videos and the channels.
We're trying to find a better platform than SoundCloud to upload our stuff to.
Aside from YouTube.
Yeah, besides from YouTube, because like they have like the limits, and we're college guys, and we can't afford it at the moment. At some point in time, we'll have a really good streaming service that's easily accessible for anybody to go on and listen to BS in the Ring and other podcasts we may decide to do in the future. I know a few weeks ago I was talking about a motorsports podcast.
We've also discussed Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. So if these things come to be, you know they will. But at some point, just right now, some things are not in the works. But we'll figure it out at some point.
please keep an eye on the YouTube channel, and we will hopefully be doing something for WrestleMania. We'll keep you updated. But in the meantime, have a good day.
Yep.